Hello, and welcome to the Hildebrand Law Firm. Topic for today, I am Matt Kaplan.
And I am Marissa.
And you'll notice that Marissa is in Kirsten's seat. Kirsten is on another journey gallivanting around the world, spreading the joys of estate planning. Wherever the heck she is, I'm sure she is spreading love and affection and knowledge about the world of estate planning. So we have Marissa to fill her seat today, and the reason being is Marissa is our absolutely lovely receptionist. I learned a word recently called factotum. You ever heard that word?
I have not.
So factotum is a word to describe someone who works in an office but does kind of a little bit of everything. And so Marissa does a little bit of everything, but she is our main point of contact for new clients and current clients, and she does a really good job making sure that the clients still love us regardless of what happens. And so that's where this video comes along. This video, one of the things I've always wanted to talk about is that lawyers go to law school to learn laws and all that stuff, but they don't ever learn how to deal with clients. One of the things that we do in the field of law is that we are a service. We provide customer service. Most lawyers always forget that, and then they end up treating their clients like crap, and then they wonder, oh my God, why did I lose all these clients? That's why I wanted to come up with this video. So this is the 5 things that lawyers do to lose clients. So thing number 1, and this is super important in my book, and Marissa, hopefully you can shed some light on this, is attitude. Now, Marissa, why is attitude so important when talking to a client?
Well, you want to be welcoming. That's the first step, is when someone calls the phone to even just to check out the law firm. You want to be having a good attitude and be welcoming, because then right off the bat, they're going to be, no, sorry, not today.
And what sorts of things with regards to the attitude that you tend to have with new and potential clients? What sort of things do you always try to do when you talk to them?
Obviously being personable, being kind, and being friendly.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because if you've ever called customer service anywhere else, if someone answers like, what do you want?
Exactly.
You're not going to want to work with them. But if someone answers, good morning, this is Marissa from Hildebrand Law Firm, how can I help you? Then you're probably a lot better off to be like, oh yeah, my husband just died, help me out. Something like that. Is that true?
That is very true.
And then from the lawyer end, attitude is everything with regards to keeping a client. Trying to be as friendly as possible, as kind as possible to the clients. And even on your end too, trying to keep the clients, because it's not like we see them once, they write us a check, we do some work, and then they leave. Hopefully these relationships are maintained for a very long time. And maintaining relationships is just as important as establishing the relationship at first, because to lose a good relationship with a good client, you could lose it instantly. Is that true?
Correct.
Yeah, depending on what you do. So attitude, super important. The number 2 thing that lawyers do to lose clients, lack of communication. Now, Marissa, please talk about communication and how important that is for clients.
So usually when a client first calls me and say they wanted to speak to an attorney, and the attorney is either in a meeting or on lunch break or whatever the circumstance is, and I say, hey, yeah, can I have your number? The attorney will call you back in so-and-so time frame. It is important that I communicate accordingly to the attorney so that they can communicate and call the client back with whatever their need is.
That makes total sense. Yeah, because how many times have you tried to call someone and they say, "Oh yeah, they'll call you back tomorrow," and you don't get that call?
Happens.
And then how often do you think, if that's the case, yeah, the attorney will call you right back and you don't call? Do you really think they're going to call us again in the future to get more legal help? Exactly. And so I think, yeah, I love what you said about a timely manner, and especially meeting the expectations that you set, because you want to set those expectations for the client. If you say, yeah, the attorney will get back to you in a month, click, I'm calling somewhere else.
And I think it's especially important for first-time clients, because when they even just want to make an appointment, you don't even have their business yet.
Right.
So you want to get their business.
Right. And what's really interesting is there's been a lot of clients somewhat recently where they have told me, yeah, I called this one law firm and they didn't even answer, and so I called you guys. And so, it's always great to hear that I'm someone's second choice, but it's also great to hear that they called us, Marissa answered, talked to them, either got everything done for them, connected them to me, connected them to somebody else, and got it done, and that the other law firm kind of got caught slacking a little bit, it looks like.
Yeah.
So communication, super duper important. Now, the number three way that clients lose attorneys, arrogance. Attorneys have a tendency of being arrogant, of being too smart for their own good. I guess Marissa, as a non-lawyer, which is the official term, which is so condescending, as a non-lawyer, I guess what sort of stuff do you do? Because you are familiar with all these terms that you talk about the clients. I guess how is a way that you communicate with clients to show them, hey, we're here to help you out, but we're not above you?
Well, I think as my position of not being a lawyer, and when I first came into this role as a job, I knew no legal phrases or terms, and I think that's really helped me communicate it with the clients because I'm also still learning as well. And while I figure out what these terms mean, I can represent it in a way to clients who also don't know these terms when I first started.
Sure. So kind of like putting yourself in their shoes
Hmm.
and being like, hey, here's how things are. Because 6 months ago, a year ago, I was exactly like you.
Right.
No, I think that's super important. And one of the things I hate the most is when lawyers will talk above clients. Something I learned early in my career, which I try to stick to, is that you were born with one mouth but two ears, which means you're supposed to listen twice as much as you speak. And for a lot of lawyers, that thought is lost on them. And so that comes from arrogance. A lot of lawyers love to hear the sound of their own voice. I personally hate the sound of my own voice. I think my voice is higher than it should be. I'm about 6 feet tall and a larger man. I should have a much deeper voice, but I don't know why my voice sounds like this. Leave a note in the comments if you have an issue with my voice, and then I'll try to get that fixed. Okay, so we talked about a little bit of arrogance, not talking above the client, but talking to the client. Now, number four reason that lawyers tend to lose clients, laziness. Marissa kind of mentioned earlier that she sends clients to lawyers, or clients call for lawyers. Oh yeah, they'll get back to you within X amount of time. Um, Now, where does laziness come into that sense, Marissa?
So just for Hildebrand Law Firm itself, say if the attorney is out of the office, I then take the call to the paralegal, which then is the paralegal's job to communicate with the attorney. But other places, if the attorney is not there and the paralegal has to take it on, the attorney is just going to be like, well, you can handle this.
Yeah, I don't like that personally. I think what's great about the attorney paralegal relationship is they work together. They serve two different roles. What I really hate is I hate the law firms that say, okay, the paralegal is going to do 99% of the work, the attorney is going to sign off on it and get the check. I hate that. I think the attorney has to be just as involved in it as the paralegal, even in the day to day, even in the grind. Theoretically, if you're building a house, the attorney's got to pick up a darn hammer, got to pick up a shovel, just like how the paralegal's doing. So I think you kind of hit it from both ends on that. And so I think pushing it off to a paralegal seems like a very lazy thing that could lose a potential client.
And I think, as myself, if I was the client, I personally would want to speak to an attorney because I know that they have the education and the knowledge behind what I'm trying to achieve.
Right. And I love that. And one of the things that Marissa does all the time, which I highly recommend too, is that, yeah, if you're one of these attorneys that's actually busy, I mean, most attorneys pretend to be busy all the time and they actually do have time. Because, like, yeah, if their spouse calls, it's not like they're going to be like, no, I'm too busy, honey. I'll
Right.
call you back in 3 weeks. No, if their spouse calls, they takes it. And if something pops up, they do it. And so if you're an actual busy attorney, one of the things that Marissa does, which I love, okay, he's going to call you tomorrow at 2 o'clock when his schedule is open. He's going to call you today at 4 o'clock when his schedule's open. Set something on the calendar so that they call because, sometimes getting a client to actually pick up the phone and call me because I have a question for them or there's something I need to go over, the fact that they actually picked up the phone and called me means that they care and means that I really need to get that information from them. So I love that. Now, the last thing that we've thought about that lawyers do to lose clients is not giving a crap. Lawyers and law firms, you need to care about your clients. And you need to not just pretend to care just because you see them as walking money bags that write you checks. You need to actually care about your clients. And I think one of the really nice things is here at Hildebrand Law Firm, because we do a lot of work with people doing estate planning, family law, litigation. A lot of the times they're either coming to us because something terrible has just happened and they need a probate, they need some litigation, some family law, or they're coming to us in a proactive sense of I want to prevent something bad from happening. And so even for the small time frame that they're in your office, you have to show them that you care because most of the time we genuinely do, right, Marissa?
Correct. Empathy is a big thing. I have clients all the time who call and say probate, be like, "Hey, my husband just died 2 days ago. I don't know what to do, or we set up a will, but I still don't know what to do." And obviously, you just want to be like, "Oh, well, that sucks for you. Sorry, I guess I can direct you to a person." No, you really have to show empathy in that situation and just make them feel calm and that we're gonna take the pressure off of their situation, that we're gonna handle it for them.
I like that. Like in that situation, you have a million things on your shoulders. Let us take some of that off of you. Let's take some of that mental load off of you while we can. And caring or just even seeming like you care and you're in their corner. I'm sure you've noticed it goes a long way for some clients, doesn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. So now you've heard about all of the things that lawyers can do to try to lose clients. If you are a prospective client looking at a law firm, or if you're a lawyer, don't do any of these things. Stop it. If you're doing one of these things, cut it out. Okay. But if you're a client and a law firm is doing one of these to you, I want to hear about it in the comments. I want to hear about some horror stories. I also want to hear about some good stories in the comments. Tell me about a time when a law firm really cared, when a law firm really wasn't, talking above you or communicated with you in a
I
timely
also have a
manner.
good example of that.
Tell me.
We had a client one time. Even though she did the consultation with one of the attorneys here, she needed to submit a form over email. And this was an older lady. She didn't know technology very well. And I spent a half an hour on the phone taking her step by step by step to submit this email to us. And even though at the end of the day, she didn't become a client for whatever reason, she later sent out an edible arrangement and thanked us for our time and just helping her.
That's amazing. And you know what? One of the things that I always think about is that even if she's not a client, it's going to pay dividends because hopefully, and not only for us, but hopefully she said, maybe it doesn't work for me, but maybe estate planning will work for a friend of mine who needs help. Now that I know this information and I know that there's firms out there that are good, I can help someone else out.
Correct.
So, and it's because of your efforts, Marissa, that's going to happen.
Thank
So,
you.
so these were the things that lawyers do. If you're a lawyer, don't do it. If you're a prospective client, watch out for this kind of stuff. But that ends it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Please join us next time. Marissa, would you like to come back at some point to do another video?
Oh, I would love
Good.
to.
I'm glad you had a good time. Okay. Excellent. And I hope you join us again next time. And just remember, here at Hildebrand Law Firm, we are here to protect your today and your tomorrow. Thank you.